All right, welcome back to the wood burning cook stove installation. We are trucking along here, and today we're going to be doing the grout on all of our tile surrounds. So we're going to put our grout in there, and we're also going to be putting a kind of a DIY Barnwood mantle. We're going to be putting that in here as well. So we're going to do both those steps together. I'm actually going to be grouting this top edge, and the mantle will sit right onto that grout line, and so I want to make sure we do those together. So we're going to start with our grout today. We'll get that mixed up and just go ahead and start there. I'm no tiling expert, I've said this before. Very soon we will be getting our wood stove moved in here. Tomorrow, in fact, I will be trucking that thing down here. 550 pounds it weighs. So I've got a couple guys coming to help me with that. Now we're going to get that moved in here, and then shortly after we'll finish our mantle and we'll be ready for our stovepipe, and I cannot wait to fire this thing up for the first time. I'll take you guys along for all of it. So let's go ahead and get started with this grout. It looks like it is coming together. The grout is all dried and wiped off, and actually the grout lines turned out pretty good. I think they look pretty smooth, and I like that color. It's kind of a dark gray, and it kind of hides the lines a little bit, and you just see more of the wood, more of the wood look anyway. And we also came back with some of that Grout Renew and touched up these little white glue lines between the bricks here, and just colored those. And if you step back, you just can't see them. They blend right in now. So that was one of the things we were a little bit concerned about, trying to cover up, and I think that worked out pretty good. Just used a tiny little paintbrush and came back and covered those up. So. All right, here is where it needs to go. Everything has been grouted behind it, and so most of the work that we need to do behind the stove is done. And now we just need to get it down here. Now this is going to be quite a task. I've got a few guys coming to help.
I didn't think so. I couldn't tell what those things. Okay, ready?
Down there, camera. Look at this, push a 550-pound stove.
1, 2. One more. Yep, one more of this, and okay. All right. Okay. so you're going to need to set down and then... You got it. And down. Over here, we can move it.
A little bit more on that side.
Over this side?
Yep, there you go. Looks perfect in the front.
Oh, that looks good. Alright, we'll have to shim it a little bit. Yeah.
Alright, so I have pulled these old pieces of wood out of the barn and brought them into the garage. So this is a 2-inch piece of rough sawn, locally milled lumber. This wood was just sitting in our barn. It had been given to us by the neighbor when he moved out, and it is just beautiful oak, real thick, real big. Now this one here has a whole lot of kind of rot and defect on it. There was some bark and stuff like that, kind of a rough look on the edge. But what we're going to do is I'm going to tuck this back into the corner, so you're not going to see this. So this will be up against the wall. This piece was almost perfect. It's good all the way down to the end. We're not going to do a mitered corner, so I'll show you how these are going to go in there. But I was thinking about doing a 45-degree miter in the corner so that, you know, both boards mitered real nicely together. Then I started looking at the wall. The wall's not exactly 90-degree angle, and I don't have a miter saw big enough to cut these boards. These are 10-inch boards. My miter saw only cuts up to 8 inches, especially on a 45-degree angle like that. I don't even think it'll cut a full 8-inch board. So I do want to sand these up just a little bit. I don't want to completely sand them down and stain them. I'm going to leave these natural wood. But I do want to just sand these edges. I don't want to sand the saw marks all off and stuff like that. You know, I just want to kind of freshen up this this finish, freshen up the edges a little bit, and just make these look a little bit nicer. But they're still going to look old, and that's okay. It is starting to look a little bit nicer. It's definitely nice and smooth. It still has that nice rough barn look. This stuff is hard. It's aged, and sanding it is taking quite a bit out of the sander, that's for sure. It's not doing much. Already said it. This will be the top surface, and this will be the front edge. So I spent most of the time sanding, you know, these two. The bottom, of course, will be covered, and the back edge will be against the wall. And compared to the other one that hasn't been sanded yet, you can see just how much nicer that looks, just with a little bit of sanding. We'll get this one cleaned up as well, and then we'll get these pre-drilled and ready to mount. All right, so I'm going to be using these lag screws, or lag. These actually replace lag bolts. They're called headlock, and these are actually pretty cool. You can use these in decking and things. But so this is a 6-inch. We'll call this a screw, and this is going to mount this to the actual wall. So I need to go through 2 inches of this oak, plus the drywall, plus I've got some spacers in there, and then into the top of the 2x4 wall. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty to bite, and I think this should do it for me. I want to kind of countersink these a little bit, so I'm going to drill a larger hole on the top of the board here, and then I'm going to do a smaller pilot hole through the oaks, just so we don't split anything, and then we'll go ahead and get these screwed right into place. right, it is starting to come together. We've got all of our grout in there, and it actually turned out really good. I think the grout lines look pretty good. We got our stove moved into place down here, and so not just a stove, but a cook. Actually, it's a wood cook stove. It's a multi-function here. Should heat our home, and we should be able to cook in the bottom there. It's an oven, so more on that. Pretty cool little deal. I'm excited to get to use it and share that. Pretty happy with the mantle. I do wish that these boards were just a little bigger. I wish they came out, you know, another couple inches, give me a nice overhang, but you know, it's just what we had. They're not straight, they're not pretty, but they are barnwood, and they were reclaimed and put to use here. So you know, if we come across some bigger boards down the road, maybe we'll swap those out. But I think they look okay, and it's going to turn out pretty nice. We can hang stockings from those and all that good stuff. The mortar joint underneath actually turned out pretty good. There's one spot back here I got to fix. But other than that, I think we're coming together pretty good here. So only 2 steps left. Just need to finish the hearth, and something unique going in here that I haven't talked about yet. How we're gonna fill this area in, and we have to put our stovepipe on. So that's gonna be quite a project. I've got some help coming to do that with me, and we'll get this thing fired up, man. I cannot wait. So stick around for the next installment of the indoor wood stove installation.
Thanks for watching.
All right, are you ready? Okay. The best, I don't need to say all this. Talking.